Okay, we will be getting you latest details on the strike being called off, but let's debate that straightforward issue tonight. Why should a company that is in that kind of a mess be in a situation to spend $20 million hiring foreign pilots? We have the documents with us tonight. Jitendra Bhargav is former director of Air India from Mumbai. D.S. Datta is former director of operations of Air India tonight. Kapil Kaul is CEO of the Center for Asia Pacific Aviation, and Y.N. Sharma is COO of Chimes Aviation. Mr. Bhargav, and I've been asking you this question on multiple occasions and you've been evading it each time.
I don't think I've ever evaded
this $19 million approximately, and along with it also a report that there is the involvement of certain relatives of former Air India top management personnel who are linked to some of these companies, which the payments are being made through. Have you also heard of these reports?
Arnab, let me put the facts in the right perspective. If you recall, in the year 2005, 2006, the private sector companies were aggressively growing and country was registering a 20% plus growth rate. It could not have happened that Air India was not to grow at that time for want of pilots. So pilots were a necessity, I'm talking about the commanders, were a necessity at that time. Now the question that begs an answer is, did Air India make optimal use of the pilots? Did Air India hire more pilots that were required, leading to additional costs? And as the company spokesman was saying, it did not lead to losses. Well, underutilization did. Now there one can certainly fault Air India for it, and the phasing out could have been done a little faster by accelerating the pace of training of pilots who are Indians. And as far as your question on the thing are concerned, whether any of Air India's senior officials involved, I don't think one can give a specific answer to this query.
Why?
There has been no evidence of that kind, because Rishwat is one company of New Zealand from which pilots were being sourced, is also providing pilots to Jet Kingfisher. Now, it's a common thing. Now, the question, if you recall, in one of your earlier programs, the SpiceJet training head did make a mention that while they were taking pilots at $8,000 per month, Air India was paying something like $13,000 per month. Now, these are issues that can certainly be looked into as to why such a difference was prevailing at that time.
No, but it's not been looked into. That's the question tonight.
No, but
it's not being looked into.
No, but
let me get you in. Mr. Y.N. Sharma is CEO of Chimes Aviation. He runs a pilot training academy. What do you think is the real issue here, Mr. Sharma?
See, as Mr. Bhargav here was saying, one cannot dispute the fact that we needed the pilots at that particular point of time. Even right now, there's an acute shortage of commanders and co-pilots. The issue, as Mr. Bhargav pointed out, is that at what price did they come in? That when a private sector airline is picking up the same person at $8,000, $9,000 a month,
right,
why was Air India paying $12,000, $13,000? That is something which definitely needs to be looked at. As far as the need for pilots is concerned, even now, the situation as it is, DGCA has given permission up to 2014 for pilots from abroad to be there, and there is no way that Indian industry is going to have those many pilots.
There are 3 or 4 reasons why this is a potential scam. Let me get in Mr. Datta. Mr. Datta, we are hearing pilots have been hired at inflated prices. You could have got them for X, you are getting them for X plus 30%. Why is there an extra 30% being paid? Second, did you need the pilots where pilots are being underutilized? Third, we are actually hearing here that relatives of former Air India top management are involved in this. If that link is proven, if it is proven, and I'm not mentioning any particular company, that some relative of some former Air India senior management personnel is involved in any direct or indirect way, which a company which receives these millions of dollars, isn't that a huge scam?
Yes, you want me to answer this?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah. Now let me begin from the beginning. I don't quite agree with what Bhargav has stated just now, because that's not true. Because the Air India management and the aviation ministry at that time, not the present one, and not the present management also, the previous one, previous to this, They went in a hurry to buy about 110, 112 aircraft, and mind you, the cost is much more than 2G scam, as you have stated just now. Because we had warned them in 92, 93, start buying aircraft and start recruiting pilots now, because I was in training at that time. Nobody listened to us, and they said, no, when the time comes, we will see it. And when the pilots, the aircraft came, there were no pilots to fly them. To say that we had no choice, well, you had a choice earlier when you could do something. And now, to compound the matter further, these people went in to hire foreign pilots from third-rate companies and fourth-rate countries and companies, and without checking their credentials. And each pilot comes in with a built-in commission, let me tell you that. Don't ask me the details, but it is a common knowledge in aviation circles that each pilot and each aircraft come with a built-in commission. Now, I will not be able to elaborate further on this, and then to add further to the whole thing, they gave out the domestic routes of Indian Airlines to the private airlines, and it appeared from what we saw in those days that the private airlines were being preferred, given preference over the national carrier by some vested interest people. And these very routes which were given to the private companies from Indian Airlines have caused this problem, because the new routes don't carry enough money with them. And these routes are given to the private companies because they are enjoying the fruits of their give and take. And for anybody to say that it is not true is wrong. It is true. Don't ask me the proof of it, but it is common knowledge in aviation circles that such a thing has taken place.
No. One sec. The question here is, Mr. Bhargav, I want to get Kapil call, okay, but Mr. Bhargav, please respond. The question here is, in the name of expanding the sector, reforming the sector, modernizing the sector, you can't justify all kinds of built-in commissions. I mean, Suresh Kalmadi could have said that. Suresh Kalmadi's argument was this: I didn't have time to sign the AM Films deal. That was an artificially created shortage of time. And what Mr. Datta here is saying is the artificially created scarcity of pilots.
No, Arnab, let me explain to you. It isn't what Mr. Datta is saying that could be justified. Air India had inducted 777s for the first time. And you were flying the old aircraft also. Now, you couldn't have moved commanders from those aircraft onto the 777. You had no 777 in the fleet earlier. Now, if you had more of 747-400s being added, I will take Mr. Datta's point that you could graduate those commanders and get more of the co-pilots converted into it. Now, that's having said this, now one has to look at it. Now, they are not bogus companies. I hold no brief for them. But the fact that the Kingfisher, Jet Airways, Sahara at that time were all taking pilots from Rishwat, how do you doubt the credentials? You look at Flight International magazine, the last 2 pages of this, have their advertisements on a regular basis.
You're mentioning a company. No, you're mentioning a company. I'm just stating the facts here. And Kapil Kaul, tell me here, there are 22 international offices, Mr. Kaul, of Air India. The running cost of these 22 international offices of Air India as of late 2009 is some 20-25 crore rupees a year. And the cost of hiring these few foreign pilots is about 90 to 100 crore rupees per year. I mean, it makes no sense that you pay foreign companies to whom you outsource hiring of pilots 4 times what you pay to run the entire international operations of Air India. It makes no business sense.
Well, Arnav, there are multiple set of questions, and I'd like to answer one by one. Foreign pilot induction in 2005 onward to 2008 and 9 was a necessity. It's a different question that Air India's training program could have been efficient, and you could have fast-tracked the induction of pilots for your 777 program. But the fact is there was a shortage of skilled pilots and engineers during that phase, because Indian carriers were inducting 6 to 7 aircraft per month, which would mean that you had to induct about 50 pilots a month for a period of 3 years. So there was a shortage of people, and every airline was basically addressing the same sort of issue in terms of induction of pilots, and more important, experienced commanders. But in Air India's case, when you fly a new generation fleet especially of 777s, it becomes a different ballgame altogether, and foreign pilots was a necessity. So Mr. Datta's point about efficiency of the training program is really justified. But to say that you don't require foreign pilots, to me, doesn't sound correct. Second issue of the excess you pay to the foreign pilots. is primarily a management issue. I think when you look at every aspect of Air India's restructuring, every element, there would be many such cases where there would be an excesses paid. I am sure that at some point of time, whoever is serious about it would need to look into it. But these are primarily two different issues.